What happens when an overbearing mom fills her empty nest with her daughter's shirt-averse ex-boyfriend instead of peace and quiet?
No shirt, no nest, no problem.
Find out next on Trees in Space. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Trees in Space, the show where we watch and review movies of all genres, and we tell you what the fans thought, what the critics thought, and what we think. Is it worthy of a small grove, an entire forest, or just a stump to sit on? And this week, in case you missed the thumbnail, we watched the 2023 drama Susie, starring Michelle Watkins and Charlie Gillespie. That is Nate, and I am Jason. You're gonna say no, it's all good.
I
Um,
forget which hand I wave on this one. Would you say that's Susie and not Suze?
I think it's Suze because he kept saying Suze.
Yeah, Gage, I believe his name is.
Gage kept saying Suze. I mean, the one guy called her Susie Q,
Yeah,
and a couple times the name was said Susie. So,
Susan.
and of course, yeah, Susan. And it reminded me of someone else that I totally forgot her name was that name. But
Would you say she was an overbearing parent, though?
uh,
I think
when she kept calling the daughter,
oh,
you
that was just
know,
like, I guess, obsessive.
yeah. So, well, we should probably tell the people what this movie's about because they've never heard of it, even though
Yeah,
it's.
yeah, probably doesn't hurt.
Um, movie info. When her only daughter goes off to university, an empty nest mother gets stuck taking care of the daughter's heartbroken ex-boyfriend, whom she can't stand. But
It was clever. It was clever. You know what? I was trying to like, I knew. So I watched the trailer before we watched this movie.
oh,
I've never done that with any other movie because I was like, because when you told me what you told me about what this was rated, I was like, it's an artsy picture. It's a freaking indie film. That's why it's rated so high. I gotta watch the trailer to see this hot garbage I'm about to watch because I know it's gonna be a freaking artsy film. And you know what? I was like, all right, how the hell are they gonna pull this off? And they did.
they
Dude
did.
fell off a water tower. They thought he was suicidal. He needed to be watched. Dad's a piece of shit. Here's Suze, who has an empathetic heart and decides, hey, you know what? This kid deserves to live. And then finds out he's not that bad. I just explained the better movie better than this fucking thing right here did.
You sure did. You sure did. So we'll see you next week on Trees in Space.
Yeah, goodbye. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, because the beginning, she's the daughter's not forthcoming forthcoming about what she's planning on doing. So the mother's hearing things like she's going up to university on the other side of they're in Canada, by the way.
Yeah,
Um, and the father's not in the picture. The father cheated on the mother with the
which
tennis pro.
super cool freaking open. I was like,
Yes.
are they are they humping? Is somebody
Yeah.
humping? I was like, okay, this is gonna be like this one of those films. And
Yeah. Well.
and then I see a woman just standing there cucking it out, and I was like,
Yeah. And she goes, it's turn the lights off when you're done. Okay. And she turns back around and goes inside. That's when you need a pool boy. Because of those situations, that's why you need to clean and shock your pool.
yeah, the guy named Pip in California, he does good work.
There you go. Pip, yes. So I don't know how much time passes between that scene and where we catch up with her going off to college. Because I want to say it's a few. Does it say 5 years?
I think it says 5 years later.
Okay, I must have like blinked and missed that because obviously there was a jump.
Yes.
And the
The
daughter does not
pool,
know.
yeah, and the pool has yet to have been refilled. It has been since
Oh,
drained.
this yes, that explains the scene a lot more. Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, she drained the
Um.
pool because her ex-husband used the pool to create infidelity, so she didn't want to be in the pool that hate
Mm-hmm.
built.
And so, Instead of just selling the house and moving. But
Yeah.
so her daughter seemed like a typical teenager doing typical stuff. Her boyfriend's always at the house in the bedroom, and the mother meets knows the brother-in-law. God, dog, the boyfriend,
Hmm.
and the mother goes, break up with him. He's gonna hold you back. You're starting college, and he's starting nothing. He's starting nothing.
Honey, you're starting university. He's starting nothing.
Happy grad, everyone. We're the emotional morons.
Does that, yeah, and like he can't even finish high school.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, he does play like off that very just kind of not going places vibe.
Hmm.
I think he has a brilliant character arc. Same with Suze, whoever the
Hmm.
actress is, did
Suze. Yeah.
did a wonderful job. Um, this movie took turns that I didn't expect them to go with. Um, like the freaking cuddle party.
Oh yes, I love that because I'll tell you right now, I would absolutely go.
I thought it was funny that she was eating spaghetti while people were
Hmm.
snuggling right next to her. Like, who
Yeah,
has
that was good.
spaghetti at a cuddle party?
And then she meets up with the teacher that's supposed to be teaching Gage.
Yep.
I don't think she tore into that teacher too bad at the part. Goes, oh wow, you really handed his ass to him or whatever. She just said, "You're gonna let him in. Do I need to go see the superintendent?" That's
Yep.
all she basically said. Not really. I mean, but the Canadian, so that's probably pretty tough for a Canadian.
Um, you know, I didn't expect, like, I thought it was funny, dude got a boner, and then
Hmm.
he goes and asks her out on a date, and they have a good time, and they're about to hook up, and then Gage steals the car, and they have to go get him from,
Because the girlfriend is no longer girlfriend. That's what happened. Kind of skipped all that, but and he finds out that she has a new boyfriend.
yes, and he
Go
decided
ahead.
he's gonna take her car and go to Montreal, and they still go. That was a bad idea.
And they run into her, and I love that scene with the mother, the ex-boyfriend, the boyfriend, and the daughter all sitting there across from each other, and that the new boyfriend's like, "Who is this guy?" And and he says something to him. I don't know what he says, but the ex-boyfriend hits him in the balls. He
Yes,
falls over.
kicks him with the boot.
Yeah, he goes, "I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just get so emotional."
Um,
Oh, that was yeah. She was the daughter turned out to be pretty entitled and selfish, and the mother even says that later on in the movie.
yeah, I loved that part. Uh,
Mhm.
one thing I caught in this is that they're in Canada. Why does the daughter need a passport to get from one side of Canada to the other side of Canada?
I don't know. Maybe just to have the passport on her in case she goes somewhere else, like to the States.
I guess maybe it just seemed weird. Like it made me see because it felt like she was leaving the States because nobody really spoke
Right.
Canadian accent there, and
Right.
then she was going to Montreal. So I thought it was like a huge freaking deal. It was only a 6 hour car ride.
Right. And yeah,
And
she
so
flew
she flew for a 6 hour car ride. What is that? Like an hour flight?
hour and a half, maybe
You
two
gotta get
hours.
to the
Yeah.
airport an hour before that. So it's a 2 hour trip. Just drive.
Yeah. To drive. I mean, I guess maybe she didn't have
Weird.
a car to drive. But the thing was about her. Oh, and by the way, a little side note here. That date she goes on and the dress she's wearing, and the daughter goes, "Stop wearing my clothes." There's no way that dress belonged to the daughter. There's no way that dress belonged to the daughter. Not because of the style, but because of the size. The mother's not a big woman, but she's not the size of her daughter. And that dress would have swallowed that little girl.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, come on. Come on.
Like,
I
unless she
know.
was planning on wearing that like 30 years later,
Right.
she no.
That was one of my favorite characters with his friend when they go, "How do I look?" And they engage, go, "Oh, that's great." And the friend turns around and lifts his head and goes, "Oh, no, no, you can't wear that."
You have no waist.
Yeah, where's your waist at, man? Where's your waist?
I
Oh,
love
Lord.
when Gage gets into Sousa's office and he goes, "Hey, you ever think about how many farts get trapped in the chairs?"
Mhm.
I was like, I have thought that. I have thought.
Yeah.
I have had that thought, and I was like, "Oh my God, I feel like I feel some sort of
You
connected."
see, you feel seen now, right?
Yes, I feel heard.
I was on her side of this table for that one. Like, no, I've actually never thought about that. And I could see you actually, because he goes, really, I think about that all the time.
I also
And that
thought,
one Asian man that was the boss, I guess.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like that little interaction. He goes, "Oh, you die? No,
Was
he
there a
got, oh
lot
yeah,
of
I didn't
blood?
die." He goes, "How do you do it? Was there a lot of blood?" You know.
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Okay, I don't know, Paul." And then
Do you think it'd be okay
her
if I
delivery of
text
that
him?
line was great. Hmm.
Do you think it'd be okay if I text him?
Hmm. There
Uh,
was very random parts and pieces through this thing. It was just, an hour and a half of someone's life.
yeah. So another thing I thought was really funny when Gage's dad asks Suze to watch Gage, and like she's like trying to tap dance around why she doesn't want to watch him, and she's like,
Hmm.
I just don't want to.
Yeah, I just don't want to. Yes, exactly. I don't want to do it. It's like
Like, yeah, like she's being honest. Like I just don't, I don't
it
want to.
seemed like the writing was somebody or people like right now, like, okay, I'm saying this, and how would you respond? I would. This is like a natural conversation between everyone. There's like very natural talking, and
Yeah,
Gage was that doofus, atypical skater boy, the stoner guy, whatever, the Jason Mewes type character. Um, and he, like you said, he had an arc. He still his character didn't change, but he wasn't always happy because he was never really happy. He
no,
was always sad. He wanted to go see his
and
mom.
and he develops. He's an iceberg,
Hmm.
and you're just seeing the tip of him, and that's what really was really fascinating is Suze had no saw this one guy that the dude that slept in her daughter, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh no, this he needs help, like he has layers, and he's a gifted beautiful artist, and he learned how to play the piano on YouTube.
Yeah, and that was a great callback for that song.
Yeah,
That's
oh
when
absolutely.
you start to see his humanity, if you will. When he goes, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "I'm fine." We played the song like 40,000 times.
It's
And
kind
here,
of
that's just the way it
depressing.
is. Yeah. And then she goes, "Just go away." And he goes back in the house and he turns and looks at her like, okay, he definitely has a heart of gold, this kid.
Yeah.
I do not like the kiss they shared. I can see it
I
coming,
Oh, I saw it coming. Man, I saw that freaking coming.
but I'm glad they broke it off immediately. Like, and then it was a very awkward ride home. I loved all
That
that.
was great. Yeah.
But I think they didn't have to do that.
I think honestly, based off of how the chemistry on camera between those
Hmm.
two, it actually felt right. Like I could see it coming, and like I was like, they're gonna fuck, and they didn't. And I was like, all of a sudden I saw that I'm like, well, this there's it's going to happen. Like he is going to misinterpret something, and it's going to go too far.
Hmm.
And it happened, and I was like, I knew it,
Yep.
called it.
Yeah. Well, I love it when you get so excited about things you call that everyone has called.
Whatever.
It's like Star Wars, a lightsaber. I called it.
That bitch has had four sabers. Oh my god, I knew it. So fucking great.
But I didn't. I mean, but I love it because it happened, and then she stopped, he stopped, whatever. And they pulled back later because the ex girlfriend or the daughter, breaks up or gets broken up with. We find out later.
Hmm.
She says she did the breaking up, but later on she said he did the breaking up. And then she's back with the guy, and he's like, "No, I need to tell you what I did with your mom first." And then
Yeah.
she gets down and gets all pissy, and they start yelling at each other. And that's when she strips down her clothes because she's going through menopause. Menopausal tea. I never heard of that before. I
Ah,
love that scene.
oh my god, I was literally just thinking about that scene. It's so beautifully. so brilliant, so damn good. Because she's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm premenopausal or whatever, and it's hot." she's just, and she's like, I didn't think he was good enough for you, and he was gonna hold you back, but in reality, I think you're not good enough
Yeah,
for him.
enough for him. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was like,
I
"Oh shit, that's cold." Like
especially
that
from your
is
mama.
life
I
changing.
can't believe I raised such a bratty, selfish bitch.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a Canadian saying that.
right. Supposed to be the kind ones.
Yeah, and then she went, oh, I do like the very end because the daughter wanted to come home. She goes, just tell me I can come home because I don't like it. I don't like the language over there. I don't like the people there. I don't like the weather. I don't like the cities. And mom said, no, you can't come home. But she had a really good reason that she can't come home.
She did.
And I
And
loved it.
I find it fascinating that they're in Ontario. She moves to Montreal and they're talking about language differences. It's the same country. And it's not like they're two different countries. Like it's insane. Canada is the most fascinating country I think ever because every province is different.
Oh, it's okay. Is there anything else you want to say about this before we move on to the 5 and 1 star reviews?
No, I think we're good. Let's go.
Okay. The first 5 star review comes from Murray T. I was shocked how much I enjoyed this movie. It didn't look like it would be so good. Superb acting, story, and everything else. Very enjoyable.
Yep. Uh I had to get creative here, folks. There are no 1 star or less reviews for this film.
Oh my god! Wow!
None. Couldn't find a damn one. So I had to scour the internet for at least 15 minutes to find any, and Reddit came to the game and decided to play. So, Reddit user Sorry Competition 83 says the movie with Charlie Gillespie, I really liked it. I thought it was pretty wholesome. The cringe parts weren't very fun, but I wouldn't call it wretched. The actors did the best with what they had, and the ending was sweet. I give it 4/10.
Mm, that's pretty low. Yeah. Um, okay. The next 5 star review comes from Richard M. And this is a longer one. I don't usually do longer ones, but it was hard to find a short 5 star review. This film was such a wonderful surprise. I always loved Michelle Watkins, so I know it'd be fun and funny. But the emotional depths this film strived for and achieved make it much richer and simple than a simple odd couple comedy. The writing, casting, and directing provided a realism to each situation while still providing laugh out loud moments. Charlie Gillespie's performance also needs to be applauded. Michelle's brilliant performance was no surprise, but Charlie took what appeared on surface to be a Spicoli role and delivered an emotional roller coaster of a character. I hope this film and the amazing performances in it get the attention and praise they deserve.
Oh, I was just about to nod off.
I know it's almost like listening to one of yours.
I hear you. Um, okay, man. Good job. Uh, Reddit user Steve Believes, as summarized using ChatGPT because it was way too long. I was stunned by how bad the film was despite its high ratings. They found the plot full of holes, the characters cringy, and the pacing painfully slow. Uncomfortable scenes and lack of charm left both the reviewer and their girlfriend unimpressed. Final verdict 0 out of 10 and a sarcastic invoice to the filmmakers.
Chat GPT, learn English. That was like terrible. And I got to figure out how to stick them on one screen. But it's okay. It's still shorter than what I said. So I'll figure it
Wait till you hear the next one.
out. The last 5 star review comes from Don C. Oh my God, this is the first movie in years that kept my attention and really hit home. Loved, loved, loved.
Nice choice.
Thank you.
The last review comes from ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT, write a review for this movie. So here it is. Suits tries to be a touching story about a mom struggling with her daughter leaving home, but instead it feels like being trapped in an awkward conversation with someone else's overbearing parent. The humor is dry, the pacing is slow, and the emotional moments land flat. The lead character comes off more clingy than caring, and by the end, you are not hoping for her growth. You're just hoping she finds a new hobby that doesn't involve hovering over teenagers. In short, well shot, but painfully awkward. 2 stars.
How is ChatGPT able to, you know what? I don't even want to know. Okay. Yeah.
Always learning.
Always learning. Okay, wow, that's funny. No, what the F? No, this actually was the first review because there was none. I had to finally do it. I went to the first review because nothing was overly humorous. And that was from Jim E, March the 30th, 2024. 3.5 stars. Started out to be a little trivial and irritating, but developed into sometimes funny, thoughtful flick about how to survive through life's relationship crises.
I can agree. The this movie takes a bit to really cook. It's tough. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we're now going to move on to see what the critics gave this and what the audience gave this. Well, the critics at Rotten Tomatoes gave this a perfect score of 100%, while the audience, which is you at the house, gave it an almost perfect score of 93%.
I don't see it.
I don't, I don't either. What I'm going to guess is it was put out, and the people that made this movie, as soon as it came out, they went and bombarded Rotten Tomatoes and scored it. And I think they have some critics on their score on their payroll that gave it 100%. Because I mean, there are very few movies that are 100%. This is not that one. So now let's go on to see what I think and what Nate thinks. Okay, so we said all we could say about this movie. This hour and 35 minutes. I don't think it was too long. I don't think it was too short. I think it was perfectly fine. I think pacing was great. I think the acting was tremendous. I thought there's nothing. This movie was just really good all the way through. Uh, Catches, like you said, catches you at the beginning, and then it brings you in, and then it kind of slows down, and you can see the relationships developing. Um, I think it lost its way a little bit in the middle there. But I think that was on purpose. If that, the whole cuddling thing, I love that scene. I would do that, but I don't see why that was really there. I could have talked about the guy's boner, um, which we didn't get to see. So, uh, so you don't get the boost. I would recommend it to my surgeon because I would want my surgeon to think that I'm kind of like artsy and smart, and I think that's this kind of movie is supposed to be. Um, so at the end of the day, I am going to agree with what was the first and give it 3 trees, 1 stump.
Now it's my turn.
I will go next. I would absolutely recommend this movie to my surgeon. The movie plays a little too long for me. At 23 minutes and 57 seconds, I wrote, this movie feels really long. The first 15 minutes felt like a half an hour, and the first 30 minutes felt like an hour. But then the movie really kind of starts to kick. And I love the character arc of this movie. Suze does extremely well. She gets gratified at the end of this movie because she's appreciated, and she really it was just really well done. Like I cried. This movie made me cry twice. I cried really good at the end, and I got a nice little tear a little bit beforehand. The movie was very sweet, very loving. Um, with that, and actually, you know what? I was hoping that this conversation that we would have would help me figure out how to rate this movie because I couldn't figure it out all day. I couldn't figure out how to rate this movie. But you know what? I am going to keep with the nagging in the back of my brain. I am going to give this movie 4 trees and a stump.
Well, you heard it here. Apparently, Nate has more of a heart than I do. because he gives these beautifully made movies higher scores because he has emotions and he cares. That died in me a long time ago, but I can appreciate it. So, but what do you think? Is it worth 4.5, or is it 3.5, or is it 2.5? You tell us what you think. Put a comment down there, a like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, put your notifications on, do everything so we can keep bringing to you this content that we love and we know you love. And until next Monday, I guess we'll see you in the pool.
What?